Hey guys, it's Liz Mealy. I just wanted to make a quick announcement. My first special, Self Help Me, is coming out May 30th at 8 p.m. You can watch it on YouTube at youtube.com/Liz Mealy. If you watch it on the release date and time, we'll be able to chat. We have a fun little thing that we watch together. Super fun. I hope you can make it. It's free. You should come. Hey everybody, welcome to Two Non-Doctors. I'm Liz Mealy.
I'm Maria Shahada. We are stand-up comedians.
Stand-up comedians that are currently jobless because of the coronavirus.
We're finally going to be the doctors our mothers wanted us to be.
Is there anything that we don't know?
A lot, actually. We have a lot of questions. We have a lot of answers.
All of them wrong.
But we do have access to
Google.
And a vet.
Oh yeah, my mom's a vet. She knows some stuff. We have to do this
So
again.
every once in a while, we're going to invite her on. No, we don't. We're going to actually use this. Welcome to Two Non-Doctors.
Hi. Welcome to Two Non-Doctors. I'm Liz Mealy.
I'm Maria Shahada.
And I guess I'm just grumpy. I think this is like the third time. I stayed, you know what's so funny? A booker from New York Comedy Club texted me at 12:30 at night asking me a question about doing like a Zoom tutorial thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry for texting so late at night." I was like, my schedule has not changed. Like, I'm still going to bed at like 2, 3 in the morning. It's just, I didn't do anything to like earn that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not coming back at 2 in the morning. I used to tell people, I was like, I have a really hard time falling asleep early because if I do a show at like 10 or 11, I get all these endorphins and stuff from performing. And it's like drinking a cup of coffee right before you go to bed. And I'm just like kind of wired. And so I have to kind of like just find a way to like calm down. But that's just not true anymore. There's no endorphins. I think my schedule's been like stamped into me. Like, this is because my dad gets up at like 4 in the morning and he's always been like that. He was a dairy farmer. Like, I don't know what he did when he was younger, but like when he was in college, he was a dairy farmer. And so my dad's like, that's when you start your day. You started at 4 and this is who I am. And I was like, that's just weird. Just sleep in, Dad. Like, you don't go to your job until like 8. Like, what are we doing? But I'm starting to be like, I kind of wake up, unless I had a flight, for the most part, I wake up at the same time every day. I go to bed at the same time. And I thought things would change, and they're not.
Well, that's weird. I mean, because it's when you were in London, you went to bed at a reasonable hour, I think, like by midnight, and you're not going to bed till like 2, 3 o'clock now.
Well, I will say this: people have an influence on me. So, like, if I'm staying with my boyfriend, like, if my boyfriend starts to look like he's going to bed, for the most part, I'll be like, I guess we're going to bed, and I can
That's nuts. That you just you see other people you care about and you love them so much that you're like, well, if they're going to bed, I'm going to bed.
But it's kind of true. Like, you'd be like, I'm tired. I'd be like, I guess we're going to bed. Like I'm
Yeah.
not saying it always works. Like, sometimes I'm just wired and I'll read a book next to him for like an hour. But I don't think I like going to. I think I'm a little bit of a child. Like, I don't. Not that I'm doing anything exceptional. Like, I'm not reading an amazing book right now. I'm not watching even a series that I'm enthralled in. Like, I think I watched like some YouTube clips and I actually finished like my newsletter for work. Like I did like boring work and I watched like YouTube clips half-heartedly. But I don't know. I think I fight. I'm a little bit of a kid sometimes where I just fight
I
going
was
to bed.
just gonna say you're like a child.
I
Like you're
am
just
though.
a kid that just like gets into things and doesn't realize what time it is or care because there's no consequences in life.
And I'm a little better about going to bed, not early because I really can't change it, but like if I have a flight the next day, I'm so scared and anxious about missing the flight that I'm a little bit like, I'll be really regulated about like my caffeine that day, and I'll really try to like be packed and like just have everything together so that I can go to bed as early as possible, even if, it's a 6 a.m. flight and I'm still going to bed pretty late, like midnight or 1 in the morning. But like, just whatever I have to do to kind of get to bed at a normal hour so I'm not a complete zombie the next day. Because I think being tired, like being so delusionally tired, has become so painful for me.
Yeah, because you also you like to be on top of your game. So if anything sacrifices that, I don't know. That's very strange. Like you're two different people in one. You are a Gemini.
Yeah, we're both Geminis. Does the
I
world
know.
know that we're like 2 days? 2 days? Yeah, it's 2
Um,
days. 2 days and some years
Apart. Well, I mean,
apart.
you don't have to say some years as if
I
like
wasn't gonna say the
3
exact
decades,
years.
you know?
I wasn't gonna say the exact years, I was trying to be polite about it, Maria.
No, yeah, we're 2 days apart. You're June 11th and I'm June 13th.
And that's always been my favorite thing.
And then I met like 5 more people with the same birthday as you, and it
Same
really
though.
fucked you off.
No, but same thing actually happened though, and I've I don't believe in the horoscope. I like it. I read it the same way I read, I don't know, just like positive affirmations. Like I think they're dumb, but I also like them. And so I'll read horoscopes. I always read horoscopes like if it's positive, I'm like, this is totally gonna happen. If it's negative, I was like, this is dumb. Like if it's like you're gonna come into a lot of money, I was like, you got it, horoscope. And if it's just like you're gonna have a bad year, I'm just like, fuck off. This is so dumb. What do the stars know? But those books where it's like your personality based on the day, like if you were born June 11th, if you and then I was like, this is weird. But then I'm friends. I dated a guy that had the same birthday as you. Alonzo Bowden is a good friend, and he has the same birthday as you. Like I have like at least
That's really
a hit.
weird.
It's super weird,
And
especially
I
because
have all these
Alonzo
friends that have the
Bowden.
same birthday as you. What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. So it's like I want to pretend like that's not real, but it's a little creepy how I'm attracted to people on this exact day.
Mm.
We're gonna have to do some like kitschy girl research on it. We should,
I've looked up our horoscopes for tomorrow. What?
oh, one of my favorite things is looking up what dreams mean. Even though again, I think it's dumb, but I have a lot because every dream is like you're either scared or you're worried about money. It feels like that's like
Yeah,
the
totally.
the diagnostic of every extreme dream. But I still like looking it up. Like it's my favorite.
Did I ever tell you about the horoscope? And I don't believe in horoscopes either. And I think I posted it on my Instagram a long time ago. But did I ever tell you about the horoscope? When I first started doing stand up comedy, I was so scared to do stand up comedy. And then my horoscope, here it is. Can I read it to you?
Of course.
If you start looking for the deeper meaning of things, you'll probably end up wishing you hadn't. Oh, this is where I should have started it. Okay, so as for your career, it's likely to be it's likely to be moving rather erratically. Don't make any serious commitments to changing your job until things smooth out a bit. Trust me, moving into the stand-up comedy field is challenging at best. Unless one of your siblings works for Leno, Letterman, or Oprah, you're taking a big chance.
What?
I know.
Wait, that was your horoscope the week you started?
Yeah, like, it's like right when I started doing stand-up, that was my horoscope. I have a
That's
picture of it on my
insane.
Instagram. I know.
And my favorite part about it is they're like, unless you know somebody. Do you know that that person that wrote that was a comic that too many people were starting, and then they were like, you know what, I'll just fucking tell them it's not in the stars, and we'll get some of these young comics off the streets.
Yeah, who knew it was, like, Jimmy January Jerkoff, like, writing my fucking horoscope. Unless you know somebody, that's how anybody makes it in this business, huh, kid? Just give up.
Yeah, that's truly what it sounds like. Oh my god. Or it's your dad. Your dad like talk to somebody in the newspaper and be like, I think my daughter's thinking about doing stand up. Let's just let her know that if she doesn't know Jay Leno, it's not going to work out.
Seriously, but, like, my favorite part is unless one of your siblings works for Leno, Letterman, or Oprah,
Yeah, what is
you're
that?
taking a big chance.
I feel like that's why I think your dad wrote it, because he was like, who else is big? He's like, I don't know comedians. Who else is a big Oprah? Oprah sometimes giggles like that's insane.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is I think when you feel like you have less confidence or you're scared or what have you, that's why you lean for these like these Instagram quotes and these horoscopes. Like you're looking for someone to kind of tell you it's going to be okay or kind of take some of the responsibility off you. Even self-help books can be a little bit addictive because you're basically somebody else is guiding you. Even though it's called a self-help book, it's somebody else kind of taking the responsibility off you a little bit and giving you like how to pointers so that it's less of a risk.
100%, because with self-help, it's like, you know how we were talking about lists and you were like, lists are good because they can just take what's in your head and you've written it down so now you can forget about it.
Yeah,
I think there's too much going on in people's lives. So if they have one part of their life that's weak, rather than dedicating all of their energy to figuring it out, you're like, well, we have fucking Tony so and so's telling you to just do this, this, and this. And you go, okay, I'm just gonna do that. That's why people
exactly.
follow diets. Just you telling me what to do, I'm gonna do it. Because I don't want to put more thought into the science behind what foods, chemical mechanisms are going to react to whatever. You've told me to do this, I'll do this.
Exactly. I 100% agree. And I'm saying that as somebody that was truly addicted to like self-help books. I'm saying that as somebody that has post-its of quotes all over their wall. I love the shit. I love it. I really do. But I also can see how it can be uh, a never-ending cycle of letting other people kind of guide you because you're too scared to take responsibility for if it doesn't go well. Like I think that's a big thing. Like my boyfriend will like ask for advice and stuff, and he just has a hard time making decisions. I just can make a decision. I'm not saying it's right. I'm wrong a lot. But one of the things that I get again, I don't know. I've been like this since I was a kid. If I decide to do something, I just do it. And the amount of times it's blown up in my face and I'd be like, that was a bad idea. It still hasn't, it maybe has made me more diligent, but it hasn't deterred me from making decisions. But my boyfriend will be like, what do you think of this? And I'll tell him. And he'll be like, what do you think of this? And I'll tell him. And then he'll be like, I don't know. I was thinking of this. I was like, well, then do that. And then
Yes.
he'll just be frozen because he doesn't want to do what I did because he doesn't believe in it. And I'm like, that's fine. But he doesn't want to do what he did because if it doesn't go well, then it's his fault.
I don't know if I mean, I don't know if all the same reasonings are behind, but like Johnny has he puts more thought into decisions than I do, I'll say. But like I make a lot of mistakes. So I'll decide to buy a certain thing and then I'll be like, "Oh shit, it's for this. I didn't even see that." It's a small like if I just read a little bit more, but I make very quick decisions.
Yeah.
And he was trying to find a bed frame and like weeks have gone by. And then finally he was like, "Do you want to help me?" I was like, "Yeah." Yes. Like,
Please.
I was like I nearly had an orgasm. He was like, if you just can you just make this decision for me?" I was like I sent him a link, like, the next second. He, like, looked at his phone. He's like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, oh, oh.
It's like,
Were you hiding in the bathroom with this link the whole time? Yes, yes,
yes,
I
I've
was.
had it in my inbox waiting for you to ask me to do this.
You know that like I feel like that's like definitely what women do is that ploy where you're like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to convince you that you want me to tell you what to do. Like I'm just over here
Yeah.
just figuring out, just stirring the pot, waiting for you to be like, well, what do you think? Oh, you want to know what I think? That's crazy.
Well, I don't know much, but
Here's all the research I've done for 3 years.
just just like this huge like folder, just boom. All
Yeah,
right,
it's
here we go.
alphabetized and color coded. And all your ideas are in this file, and all of my ideas are your ideas. So just choose
T-
what I believe.
Totally, totally.
What did you Google this week?
Can black mold kill you?
Oh, I feel like I've Googled that before and never fully got the answer.
Well, it's because black mold has control of most websites, and so it's a conspiracy.
It is. They're always taking you to some fun game, and you're like, wait, why am I playing this game now? Black mold, the trickery.
So, like, Johnny had a little mold on his wall, and I was like, I'm gonna clean it. I had the time, I had cleaning supplies, so I just took a sponge to it and I cleaned it. I didn't get it all. I didn't. I'm not perfect. It's not perfect. It's less than. But then I read something somewhere that you have to wear masks when you clean mold because like you could just.
Spread the spores.
Yeah, I didn't know about spores. So little I know, like these fucking spores are getting onto my face and shit, and like I had
I
no
just
idea.
I had a vision of you cleaning the same way somebody like cleans an attic, and then like a bunch of bats just come out of nowhere, like you're cleaning, and you're like, ah, blah, ah, ah.
Yeah, I know. And I'm so distant, like that people on the first level of the house just hear a, ah, but like don't know what it is.
He's like, I think a ghost is sad.
Please.
Guys, there's a whole colony up here.
I ate a bat.
Okay, so you're
So
filled with spores now.
yeah, so I'm filled with spores now. So I asked if black mold can kill you. Most sites, it's no, it's not at all. Like it might make you sick if you're allergic to mold, which I am allergic to mold, but maybe I'm just allergic to a different type of mold.
You're so complex.
God, I know.
You're like, oh, this isn't the mold that makes me sad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a very complicated person and very interesting because of it. And but it's fine. So unless you're really young or really old, it's coronavirus. Unless you
Yeah.
have a compromised immune system or you're really young or really old, you'll probably be fine. But you should get rid of it, is what most sites say. And like you can get rid of it, but they say wear a mask. Or you can hire people to get rid of it, or you can ask your landlord to get rid of it, but get rid of it. But if you don't get rid of it, it doesn't matter
Well,
unless it affects you, and then you could become depressed.
so a friend of mine got oh crap, what is it when your face freezes? Crap. Oh, it's gonna
A
bother.
stroke?
Not a stroke. It's like half of your face just like stops moving.
Oh, yeah.
Crap, what is that called?
Bell's palsy.
Bell's palsy. Thank you. That was gonna be a long. We're gonna have to pause the.
Normally, my whenever somebody can't remember something, my brain just goes, "Well, if they don't know, I don't know either." And so I can't think of anything, but that
I was gonna
time
say cerebral palsy, and I was like, that's not right, and I'm not gonna say that out loud. No, Bell's palsy. So I both my brother-in-law and a friend of mine have experienced it, but my friend that experienced it, it was because he had black mold in his apartment.
What?
Yes, and I think it was there. I think it was a lot of it, and I think it was there for a long time. And and like the thing about Bell's palsy, and again, don't listen to anything I'm saying, but it's not always permanent. So he like half his like face was kind of like frozen, but it only lasted I think for like a week or so. But like there are instances where it doesn't go away. But that was probably like one of the scare. I remember that was like 10 years ago, and I remember him being like, "Oh, I have Bell's palsy," and da da da. And I was like, "Wait, what?" And it was like from mold. And next thing I knew, I was just like, so now like I had a waterfall in my apartment the first year I lived here. So I guess there's a bathtub. I'm on the first floor, and I guess there's like an apartment above mine that has a bathtub, and I don't know what they were doing, but it first started out as like little leaks, and then just one day I came home from the road and my roommates were like, "Oh, we forgot to tell you there's like a full waterfall in your room." And there were like 6 buckets, and it was just like perpetual water coming down in the middle of my room, and I was like,
Oh my
"Guys,
god.
this isn't a bucket situation. This is a call the landlord situation." I was like, "Thank you," but at the same time, like they both were like, "I don't know, we heard water running. We thought it was weird, so they went in a
I
room and
love
that's
that
what."
you will come in the door and they're just in an inflatable boat, just like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Liz, we're all just on our way to the kitchen," and they just row over.
They're just paddling. I feel like I live with 2 guys. I love them, but I do feel like they're the kind of like Wanda Sykes had a joke about it, how like men, like they run out of utensils and they run out of plates, and they would just be there with like truly with napkins and like a toothpick just eating stuff off. They're just like, "Doesn't bother me. I'm not gonna change my life. We don't have any plates. Oh, they have to be cleaned? That's not my problem." Like I do feel like they're like that. Like we would run out of toilet paper and they'd be like, "Yeah, every time I poop, I shower. It's not a big deal." And you're just like, "What?" You're just like, you're like, "Just buy toilet paper. We live near a CVS. Like, what are you doing?" But that's
Mm.
how it was, and I think it took almost 3 months for them to fix this leak. They would fix it, it would go open, it would fix it, and I had to be like, "You can't just paint over this damage. Like, what are we doing here?" And I remember I think it was the super. He was like, "It's fine," and I was like, It's fine doesn't make me feel confident. I'm the one sleeping in this room, and that's all I could think of is my friend that got Bell's palsy from black mold. I
Oh,
don't know,
well,
dude.
good. Now I'm terrified.
Yeah, no, that's good. I also think it has to be prolonged amount of time and a lot of it. So it just if you can clean it with a sponge, it doesn't seem like. I think it has to be an extreme situation. But to me it's like when people's like house get flooded and like
Yeah.
they can't move back in because of the mold. I think it's that kind of situation. Like I don't think your whole apartment can be damp and then you live there. You can't have a damp
Okay.
house.
Okay.
I
I
can't wait for
mean,
somebody to write to us and be like, "You girls."
oh dear.
Oh dear. Okay. I'm going to send you some. I wrote a book on black mold and we're going to test you on it. So, I mean, it's nice that they say you can't die from it. You just need to be more responsible about cleaning.
So that's good. I was really happy to learn that. I can't die from it, but now I'm worried about Bell's palsy. But
Cool.
what did you Google?
Mine is a little less scary. Mine was, why am I dizzy every time I stand up?
That is terrifying.
So this is the thing is that I can't be vertigo. Like I think everybody's first thought is like you have vertigo, but it's not. It's like I stand up, I'm dizzy for the first like 3 seconds. I sit down, I'm fine. I think because I'm not moving, my body is like, "Oh, we don't move anymore." So I'll sit on the couch or I'll sit in my bed and I'll get work done for hours. And then I just stand up really quickly because I think I'm a fit human and I'm not. And it's been almost every single day when I stand up, I'm dizzy. So what sucks is like nobody takes it seriously. Like I feel like the whole internet is like, "All right, girl, like you either have bad medication or you're an idiot. or you're drunk. Like every single thing was just like the only time you're dizzy is if you have vertigo, if you're on some kind of weird medication that's a side effect, or you stand up too quickly. Like those are your options. So I don't know. It wasn't really conclusive. It was basically, and to me, I'm not on medication. I'm not drinking. It's not
You're not
vertigo.
unhealthy,
No, I'm not. I mean, right now I feel unhealthy because I'm not really moving much.
but
But
on the spectrum of people in this world, you're pretty healthy.
yeah, no, I agree. I just I'm really learning about how toxic lack of movement is. Like we're this is where I start writing my dissertation. We're meant to move. Everybody, I'm writing a book called We're Meant to Move. It's about movement, it's about the spirit of
Oh my
movement.
god, I'm just tired of thinking about that.
But it's kind of true. Like we're meant to move. I think all the back pain that people have in general is from this like sedentary, like sit at a desk for 8 hours kind of thing. And I feel like I live a very weird life normally, which is like I'm either sitting at a desk, sitting on a plane, driving, or I stand for an hour a night. But like I think the natural way New York City works, I don't think I realized how much I moved in a day. Even if I spent up until 6 p.m. In my bed or at my desk getting work done, I still moved a lot at night, getting to the subway, getting from gig to gig, going to meet my friends. Like it's just a walky kind of town, just like London is. Yesterday, I walked a mile to go to a CVS because this CVS was supposed to have this specific, artsy fartsy eczema spray. I could buy it online, but I was like, I'm gonna go. They had like a list of CVSs that carry it. So I walk a mile, can't find the CVS. I'm like, why can't I find this CVS? Only to realize that it's a dead CVS. Like it's not even like it's
No.
closed for whatever. It's like it hasn't been. It's a ghost town CVS. And
No.
I was like, fuck. And then I was like, no, the whole reason I even decided to go on this mission is I just needed a reason to walk. And then I walked, the 20 minutes. So I did a 40-minute walk yesterday with no purpose, but I didn't know there was no purpose. And I was just proud of myself for walking. And it's the first day in 2 months that my back hasn't hurt. So it's like,
Oh.
one of those weird things where I was like, fuck you, not knowing the CVS is dead. And then I was like, the whole purpose of this, normally I would have taken the subway or I would have ordered it online because things come quickly. But I was like, no, we're going to
It's
walk.
funny because I got really mad about the same thing, but because I went to the post office, but there were too many people in line outside, and I was so mad about it, and then I was like, "Yeah, but you mostly just wanted to get a walk in." It's not even like it was like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I was like, "God damn it."
I
Sorry, go
have
on.
no, I actually have a really it's like a weird what's the opposite of a gift? Curse? I have a weird curse that the only time I go to a post office is on a national holiday. Having a Monday off doesn't affect me in any which way, and I never most like it's so funny how people during quarantine were like, I don't know what day of the week it is, but I was like, that happened to me all the time. Like I just never I vaguely knew the weekends because I perform more and I get more money on the weekends. But anytime I went to the post office, it was like 3 times a year. It always happened to be on a national holiday. So I would walk 15 minutes to the post office with like a giant package, and then it would be closed. And it's the post office is right by the subway. So the whole goal was go to the post office, mail my package, and then go into the city. And the amount of times I had to carry a package all day because I didn't like look that it was a national holiday or that the post office was
Yeah.
open. I've hated myself. Like that's my curse. Is if I want to go to the post office, it's probably closed.
Well,
I feel like that's an old lady story that I just told, and I'm kind
well,
of
that's
embarrassed.
okay. Did you see the azaleas on the way, Grandma?
They just aren't as pretty as they were last year. I say it every year. If you're not going to use the right soil, they're not going to blossom the way they did in the 40s, and nobody
You
listens.
you say that every year, Grandma, you're right. When you're right, you're right. You gotta tell those people.
You should be writing letters, Grandma. Yeah, but the post office is never open. Oh, your life is so hard. Um, let's let's get personal. What is your hydrogen? That is not the right word. What is your hygiene deal breaker when you're dating somebody?
It's gotta be teeth. It's gotta be like mouth, oral hygiene, teeth. I mean, this was in like, either senior year of high school or, like, right into the beginning years of college, but I dated somebody I don't think he brushed his teeth, like, and I think he thought it was cool, and
I
I
cannot
couldn't
even imagine that.
I didn't even wanna share my food, and not for, like, the obvious reasons that I wanted all of my food, but I didn't want his mouth on my fork or anything. I have to be able to look at your mouth and not
Yeah.
go, "Ugh."
Yeah, I think teeth was mine. I even have, like, an old joke where I reference, like, as long as it looks like you brushed your teeth, I'm down. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what that is, like, I body odor doesn't bother me that much. I don't know if I have a bad sense of smell or if in some ways I remember a boyfriend years ago that would say, "I like your brand," as a way of saying, like, "I like your scent." Like,
Yeah.
I do think in some ways that there's some kind
You
of
mean
primal.
Austin Powers?
Is that true? Did he
I
say
think,
that?
like, one of his characters, like Fat Bastard, would fart and be like, "Everybody likes the smell of their own brand," and everybody thought that was so funny, and apparently that boy did too.
But his wasn't about farting, it was about literally, like, your scent, and everybody
It's
had,
still the
like.
same thing. Yeah, but yeah.
No, because a fart, even if it doesn't
Liz,
bother
you're not
you.
gonna sit here and tell me that's an original thing to say about one's scent. That was an Austin Powers joke,
Oh, no, I'm not
and he
saying what he's
just took
saying
it
is
to
a.
mean,
Yeah, but I'm not fighting if it's original or not, but his
"Oh,
usage of it wasn't about farts, like, he wasn't being like, "I like
I
your
understand."
farts, Liz." But I'm saying, like, whatever those pheromones are, like, whatever your natural scent is, like, I remember my friend in high school, like, I could tell, like, I feel like if she if she was in a crowded place, like, if I walked into, like, a train station and I smelled it, I'd be like, "Winnie is here," because she just had it wasn't bad, it was Winnie. It just is what she smelled like. Her room smelled like that, her backpack smelled like that, her hair smelled like that, that was Winnie's scent. And
Yeah,
I do feel like there's something primal about just whether it's like, because, like, yeah, people like what you smell like when you get out of the shower, whether it's your soap or whatever. But I'm talking about, like, wake up in the morning, what you smell like, or like what my boyfriend's apartment smells like. Like, it smells like something. Like, it's him. Like, I don't think we know what we smell like, but somebody close to you knows your smell. During quarantine, like, I didn't shower. Like, I think I went 4 days was the longest I went.
mm,
I tried to get better, like, every other day, but that doesn't bother me. I don't even know if it's bad breath as much as it's like teeth looking uncared for.
'cause bad breath is a bit of a deal breaker, but I can deal with that more than I can deal with nasty looking teeth. I mean, how bad does your hygiene have to be that your teeth look grummy,
Yeah.
you know?
It makes me think of, do you know that old Mitch Hedberg joke where he talks about, tartar? He goes, crap, we're gonna have to edit this out. I forget how it goes now. Has to do with, like, I have just the average amount of tartar. No, I'm butchering it. Please edit this.
Hang on. I will.
But yeah, I always like that was one of those jokes that I was like, that's hilarious and gross all at the same time. I was like, you know, when you like appreciate something, Nick Swartzen had a lot of jokes like that. Like, he would make some disgusting joke, and I almost like my mother, I'd be like, that is so gross, but I'd be laughing the whole time.
Oh, necklace.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Are we ready to get into our topic?
yeah.
This is gonna be an interesting one for me because I think this is gonna be the first topic that I had to, like, legit do research, and I'm still wrapping my head around it as opposed to, like, everything else we've talked about, like, I knew something about it or I had experience with it or you had experience with it, but, like a deep experience with it, but, our
Mm,
topic today is ASMR. I don't
mhm.
do you know how to break out, like, I could read what that means.
Autosensory Meridian Response? Hang on.
Yeah, I
Let's
think it
see
is
how many words
response.
I got right.
Ding,
You
ding, ding,
think it
ding.
is that right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, yeah.
I have heard the ASMR before. Like, I've heard what that was, but I don't think I ever registered what it meant.
What do you mean it
I've
meant?
heard people reference ASMR, but
Oh,
I've
okay.
never, as somebody that doesn't have a great vocabulary, I hear people use words, and if it doesn't seem to affect my appreciation of what they're saying, or I don't care enough to look up what it is, I just let it pass. So I
Yeah.
feel like I've heard it and went, I don't know, this doesn't apply to me.
It's sounds like if you go to an ASMR video, somebody's whispering sounds into a microphone that vary from role playing to, like, different sounds objects make, into one ear or the other or both to give you a tingling response. Like, some people experience it, not everybody, but it's a very relaxing, tingling, like, calming feeling, that some people, like, refer to as a brain orgasm. As somebody with misophonia, like, sounds can give me the exact opposite response, and there are some studies say that misophonia and ASMR are on the same scale, but,
Really, the way that like autism has a scale, or even they think mental illness kind of has like a scale where like you would have like maybe depression on one end and schizophrenia on the other. They
I
think
think
like
so. Yeah,
that.
I think it's like yeah, like, if it were a color wheel, it'd be yellow and purple maybe, but,
Wow. But in my mind, when I started reading about ASMR, I was like, to me, this sounds like punishment to you. Like somebody whispering, or like, because it's like tapping. It could be like, like scraping your nails across something. Like,
well, I gotta be honest, some of it was punishment, like, some of it's really relaxing, and my first experience with it was I had a French tutor when I was in high school, and she had such a soft voice that it was so relaxing and just peaceful, and I was but at the time, I took it to mean she was so Christian that she exuded peace.
okay.
The thing is that, like, with ASMR, some people could listen to it and have, like, a sexual response, but, most of the time, it's not, it's just relaxing.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what's confusing about it, is that, like, there seems to even be a spectrum of how people feel about it. So there's some people that are like, "Yeah, I listen to it to help me fall asleep," or I use it I the same way somebody might draw a bath to just relax, it seems like somebody would put it on to listen to it to, like, calm down. But then there is, like,
Yes.
a whole weird like, erotic sexual aspect to it where, like, I don't know, I found it I don't wanna say somebody's thing is weird, but I found it a little I feel a little bit like my dad reading this, where I'm just a little bit like it's like, "Hey, what you do in your room is fine, I just don't wanna know about it." Like, a little bit
Ah,
like, I
that's
don't know,
really funny.
I had such a, like I was, like, reading it and, like, I feel like if you walked in on me reading this, I would be a little like, "I would it's for a work project." Like
I felt like that too. Like, I felt like I needed to hide my computer or something. That's the thing. It's like some people turn it sexual, and let's just leave that out for a minute. I don't think either of us have any experience with that, so let's just not talk about it for now.
You're right though. Like it seems like that's a little bit of an outlier, the people that use it in a sexual manner. Most people, and I think, isn't it kind of sad that as soon as something gets sexualized, people are like, "No, like now I can't talk about it openly. It's just supposed to be like I like whispering."
So did you listen to the videos and then were you just like, "What the fuck is this?"
Well, this is the first thing that kind of pissed me off. Okay, so they have ASMR artists. Already I'm angry. Like
ASM artist.
yes. So they have these artists that have YouTube pages that make these sounds, and there'll be a woman like opening a bag of chips in like a weird contraption. Like they have like special devices to record things. And she
Yeah.
has like millions of views. And as somebody that like comes up with unique ideas
Oh,
and
totally.
polishes over months, like I'm as much as I like watching silly cat videos, it's still punishment to my heart to see like a cat fall off a table and have 10 million views. And then I've like coordinated these jokes with like sweat and blood, and it's taken me 6 months to polish, and it has nine. Like I just can't, like it just makes me, so there is something
Well,
very
I will
upsetting.
say this, Liz, try telling a joke on stage with a little bit of a whisper.
Yeah, that's almost how I feel. Like I'm just like maybe I should start whispering my jokes, because that's the other thing that I found fascinating, is that like they'll have these people whisper, but like some of it's like, so I went to the store yesterday and they were out of bread, and I was like, that's crazy. When are you gonna have bread? Like you know what I mean? Like they
Exactly
just
why you could do that with your jokes. There's this girl Chase in LA like posted a sketch about her writing to her upstairs neighbor, but she did it in such a calm voice that like it had like an ASMR effect to it. And so, I mean, it went viral, and I think it's because of that. So it's like you're joking, but you could actually kind of do that.
there's people that like yelling, so there's like you send that joke, the yelling version of it, and then there's a whisper version of the joke, and then there's like a non-cursing version for the people that don't like cursing, like like you have like a
Yeah,
Christian version of it.
there's so many different types of videos, and, like, some of them I like, right? Like, they have, like, a glycerin soap cutting one.
Can you
So they
explain that?
take glycerin soap, and they cut it into tiny little squares, and they just shave it, and so it makes
Oh,
this sound.
oh, I've seen that on Instagram. Because this is the thing that's weird to me. Like there's all these videos on Instagram that are like sensory cups overflowing, or like
Yes.
that kind of stuff, and I find myself fascinated by them, and I am very much like a texture person. We'll have to
So
talk
you
about
do get it. Ah, look
but
who's
that's
not judging now.
go fuck yourself. But, like,
Oh,
I don't
go fuck yourself. Just wanna refer back to that
Yeah,
video
yep,
we did.
yep, yep.
Okay.
But I don't think mine's this tapping or this like, that stuff I find weird, but I will say, like, chopping vegetables, there's something very satisfying about somebody doing it well, and then, like, the sound of, like, a crisp pepper, like but is that what ASMR
Listen to
is?
you, you're so poetic. But that's the thing, it's all like it's a spectrum of different things. So, so you'll have the glycerin soap cutting, it's nice, people cut slime, that's nice. I'm very big on texture too, I like to see texture being cut. I like hearing the noises, but, and then they have people playing doctor, or they have people, like, pretending to, like, you're at a facial appointment, and they'll, like, turn on a buzzing noise. There's a 2-hour video of somebody, blowing a hairdryer, and I
What?
skipped through it. It is exactly the same, it's not like it's changes up. They're just blowing a hairdryer onto a carpet and just, like, kinda shaking a little bit. 2 hours of that.
How many views?
It's probably got, like, 3 million, let me look it
Oh,
up.
I
Um,
can't. Can we stop? I'm crying. I
are you really? Are you
This
really?
is so upsetting.
Right, record it and put it online, I'm sure someone would love that. Um
I also feel like my cackle laugh is like whatever. It's like nails on a chalkboard to these ASM people. They're like, I don't know. Every time she cackles, I get angry. Um,
12 million views.
oh, Jesus Christ. So,
Um,
so this is weird. I like white noise when I sleep. So I sleep with a fan for the most part. I also live by a highway. So, like, honestly, weirdly, cars going by is somewhat soothing in a way. And
mhm,
then my boyfriend has like a noise machine that just is kind of like it's like, but as soon as I'm awake, I hate it. So
yeah,
I don't know what that is, but like going to bed, the white noise, I think it's just because like, especially New York City apartments, I can hear my neighbors, people are getting up to pee. Like it just kind of balances the sound and I don't have to, like, my brain's not like, what was that? What was that? What was that? But as
right,
soon as I'm awake, I find it like nails on a chalkboard. I hate that kind of white noise that like it just makes me crazy. That's what I find so weird where if my roommate opens a bag of chips, it doesn't bother me. But if my roommate was opening a bag of chips over and over again for an hour, I'd be like, just put it in a bowl. Like I would just be like
absolutely, and, like,
insane.
crisp chip bags are a huge misophonia trigger for a lot of people.
Do
So
you think they
that's
give
kind
me
of the point I was
misophonia?
getting to. It's why it's like the same it's a different side of the same penny or whatever the saying is. Because there's a food one where this girl is she's eating, like, sushi and sloppy things like that. I nearly vomited. I couldn't my face was just like, oh, and, like, I couldn't but I was trying to watch it because I was fascinated by my response to it, and I couldn't stand it, and then she ate something crunchy, and that, like, I felt a little bit better with the crunchy, but there's something about, like, the saliva noise with
Yeah, like
the
smacking.
salmon and shit that I'm like, "Oh, gross," but then she had a layer cake, the crepe layer cakes that I love?
Yeah, yeah.
I just, like, had to see her watch that, and I think that was just my love of food videos. I was like,
Yeah.
"Well," I was like, when are you gonna eat the layer cake?" I'm, like, skipping to the end like it's porn. I'm like, "When are we gonna get to the good stuff?" And she ate the layer cake, but I think, like, her mouth must have been mic'd because it was all a bit much.
Yeah.
But some people yeah, I mean, that works for some people. That particular video made me want to vomit. That was really triggering for misophonia, but if the
I
right
just
person does it, I could see how, like, the whispering would be relaxing.
I could see some noises being something of value. I cannot imagine especially I'm such a like use the right word for the right situation and choose your words wisely. If somebody was whispering their boring day to me, I'd be like, "I'm sorry, are you a 4-year-old?" Like I don't like to me it just sounds like a little kid being like, "I went to the park and there were no swings and I was really sad. So I went home." You're just like, "What? Why? 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 Why are you telling me
Yeah,
about the
but, like, you
swings?"
coulda just that's, like, another thing about the videos is that half the time, whatever they're saying doesn't matter because it's just the sounds and the noises and the whispering that is relaxing, but I can't turn the other part of my brain off that wants to know where the story is going. So I
That
watched one where this woman was pretending to give a facial, but I was watching it as if it was a sketch and it had, like, a beginning, middle, and end, so I'm just waiting for this thing to progress, and it wasn't progressing, and it was driving me crazy for that reason. So I couldn't relax because of that. So it's like there needs to be a video that's like the best of both worlds. It's like a really good story and it's relaxing.
I think that's part of my problem, like, just, talking to talk. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what our podcast is, but, people are like, "You've never said anything of value." And don't get me wrong, I do it all the time, like, you and my sister talk about how I tell some of the most boring stories, but in while I'm telling it, I didn't know it was gonna be boring, and I feel like these people knew that it was gonna be boring the whole time. I saw one where it was a woman pretending to put on makeup on somebody, so it looks like she's putting makeup on the camera, and I was like, you know what it is? This is where I really do feel like my father. This sounds like a goddamn waste of time.
Yeah.
That's where my anger is. Like I'm watching this and I go, you could be reading a book, even if it's a novel. Like I don't think you need to read a book to be educated, but you could be reading a book, you could be watching a show that takes you on some kind of magical journey. You could be organizing something. Like there's something about, and this I will be super honest. I have a hard time relaxing and I'm a workaholic. I know that about myself and I know that's not healthy, but nothing about this, like this is weirdly like emotionally triggering and somehow also like sound triggering. Like there's like two different parts of me that are angry while watching this.
Okay. I mean, and that makes a lot of sense. Like you're having a response that's like, stop whispering and just say what you're saying. um,
It's
I
almost why I'm worried about having kids. Like if a kid told me a secret that was boring, I'd be like, "What? Why? Like why did you whisper that to me?" Like you know what I mean? Like, and I'm just so worried
Hi
that I'm
Liz.
like like
Did
I
you know that my baby dog, her name is Peaches and she's got blonde hair, Liz.
and I'll be like, "Maria,
Like
that's not a secret." And I'd be like and then I'd scar my daughter and it would be so horrible. I I'm a little concerned about how angry this thing is making me. And that's like one of the weird things where like I know about misophonia because it's something that affects you and we have a friendship and it's important for me to know about it. Me learning about ASMR, I don't think I have anybody there, for some reason I'm sure I know people that do this and I don't because this to me this is what's weird about it being on the same spectrum is that yours affects you in a negative way and you have all these things you have to do to not lose your shit. Well, this seems to be a pleasurable thing and in no way does anybody need to know about it. Like the same way that there's something you like in the bedroom, only one
well,
to
yeah, but
whoever
I mean,
you're in the
that's the
bedroom
thing.
needs to
Is
know
like,
about it.
is that so many people thought they were weird for it, and then when it came out, because there was a woman talking about it, and she said when she was a teen, like she used to like stuff like this, and she thought she was like sort of weird for it, and then like the thing just sort of started, and a few people would be into it, and then suddenly this weird dark corner of YouTube had millions and millions of people watching these videos.
I will
So
say, yeah.
I don't think everybody's like loud and proud ASMR. Like I just think that they thought that was something kind of particular to them, and then suddenly they realized, like misophonia, there are tons of people like that.
That's a valid point. I would say there's so many everybody has so many weird quirks to them that to feel less alone is so important. And so I'm happy they have it. I think that is the beauty of the internet is that like it's pretty rare now for somebody to be like I'm the only person that's into this thing. Like you can find at least 10
Yeah,
people. Like I feel like everywhere
I
there's
know that like the good side is that you find a community of people and you feel less alone and life ends up being worth living. The bad side is like racist people find each other. So I don't know, it's a balance.
yeah, true, true. And also like I don't want to shit on it. If anything, I'm just going I truly don't understand it, but
No, but
I
you are having an emotional response to it and it does make you a bit angry. And so I'd like to dig into that a little bit.
but that being said, the thing you said about glycerin soap, I am drawn to it. Like I think mine is more about textures because I've always been so I'll say this, I'm not a foodie. Like the fact that we're friends in that sense is kind of crazy. I grew up on microwavable meals and peanut butter and jelly, and if I didn't have allergies, I would still be eating all that stuff. I'm not a foodie. I can eat bad food and it doesn't even affect me. Like this and that being said, it doesn't mean I don't like good food and I can't appreciate good food because I can, but I don't need it. It doesn't make my day better or worse. It's like I've had a good meal and I've told somebody about it, but I don't need to have a good meal to feel like life is worth living, and I don't need to talk about a good meal. I can have a good meal and tell nobody. It's crazy. So there is something about texture for me though. Like I like burnt food. I think because I grew up with a lot of burnt food. I like things that are crispy. I like burnt food. There's something satisfying about something crispy. And I
Mm,
wonder, just like so we kind of narrowed down that misophonia was like a neurological is it not a disease, but like a neurological
disorder.
disorder. Is this something that's also, and that there's some kind of foundation that was set when you were younger with it? Do you think ASMR is the same thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, did their mom whisper to them a lot when they were in the crib? Like, I guess a part of me that I had trouble finding online is, yes, this thing is a response, but is there a reason that it's a response? And if it is on the same spectrum of misophonia, they're saying misophonia came from um, something that clearly happened when you were younger that set this disorder in place. With ASMR, did something also happen when younger that set this in place? Like your favorite bus driver always gave you a bag of chips, and it just like almost like Pavlov's dog. Is that, am I saying that right?
Pavlov.
Pavlov's, like that like every time you got a bag of chips, something good happened to you, so now you love the sound of chips. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't know. I didn't even know that about misophonia. I didn't know those. I think people might speculate that it's triggered by something from when you're younger, but I have no idea, and I have no idea about this. I just think that some people respond differently to stimulus than others.
True, absolutely.
I had my first boyfriend hated when you touched the inside of his elbow.
What?
Like he couldn't, if I ran my finger across the inside of his elbow, he would go and like he couldn't deal with it. He's just like he would seize up and be like, "Do not do that." And one time I
Weird.
stuck my finger, and nobody likes this, but one time I stuck my finger in Johnny's belly button and bam, like, he's just like, he didn't like smack my hand hard away, but it was definitely like, "What are you doing?" It wasn't like responsive, like, "Don't do that." Uh,
There is a part of me that there's not a lot of holes that you can, poke and prod for guys, but, like, as
yeah,
soon as
you
you do
can't.
it and you'd be like, "Hey, we get poked all the time. Maybe be okay with it." Like,
Yeah.
I always try to put my finger in Justin's ear and nose to be annoying,
I
and
I
it
do that
works.
too. Yeah.
Every time he's angry at me, and every time I do it again.
Who are we? How did we find each other, Liz? Like, I put my finger in Johnny's nose all the time.
It's just
He's just
fun to be
he takes it
annoying.
in stride, but yeah. What is that? They get on a podcast together. Any deal breakers? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'll tell you about some deal
So
breakers. Oh, man. I can't wait for their podcast while they shit on us.
no way, that'd be awesome.
Um, did you discover anything that kinda, like, changed your mind about it? Like, I'll say this, like, I really did my initial thought about ASMR was that it was, like, a kinky thing, but really that's such a small part of the community that, like, I would say my research really changed me, where I was like, "Oh, it's just something that, like, is relaxing and, makes them feel comfortable or safe, and it's a smaller group of people that is it kind of sexualizes it." What One of the things that I thought was crazy is one of like the main searches is ASMR safe, and I was like, why would it be unsafe? Like it just really was
Yeah.
like it, like the fact that it was even a question, I was like, what about it is unsafe? But I guess because people are getting like this tingly feeling in their head and their neck and their spine, it's scary. But like they basically were just like, is it's not dangerous at all. Like it's the
Oh,
same
like
effect,
they might pass out or something.
because I guess they get such a physical feeling of it that they were worried that like they had some like, I don't know, the same way that like you touch an outlet and there was like a spark and you're just like, this seems dangerous, guys. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But because they
Well,
had
what
such a
bothered me was that it said that with ASMR, like you can overdo the stimulus. So if you listen to something and it relaxes you. If you listen to it again and again and again, it can relax you less and less and less, which annoys me because with misophonia,
it
I
never
don't
gets
get
better.
less irritated or rageful the more I hear noise. It just doesn't lessen, which is why I don't know how exposure therapy could ever work for misophonia. Because no matter how much I hear somebody chewing gum, it's gonna make me wanna vomit.
But I would think
So that
with exposure therapy, it's about having tools and special responses to it. That's what I would think is the benefit of it. It's not the actual being around it because you're exposed by it all the time. How is life not exposure therapy? But it's about having some kind of arsenal to handle it. So
Mm.
while with ASMR, there's like a physical response. To me, it's like the way you describing it the way you did makes me feel like that's how they talk about drugs. Like, you do a drug once at this level and it gets you high. Then you do it again at that level and it gets you high. And then you do it again at that level and it gets you slightly less high. And then you do it again at that level and it's like a half life.
Right.
It just less and less gets, and that's why people have to do more drugs and blah blah blah. So there's a part of me that's like, it is it giving a high response to people? If it's triggering the same response that smoking pot would, like especially like pot that gives you kind of like a physical high, that if
Yeah,
this
but
is
I
like a
don't think
natural way of getting high.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's anything about getting high. I don't think it doesn't alter your state at all. It just it's just sort of physically relaxing. But maybe on a much smaller scale, maybe that's what opiates do or something that relaxes you.
Well,
Maybe if you
ecstasy,
take it
like,
and times it, but yeah, go ahead.
because like I did ecstasy twice when I was a teenager. Don't want to
Oh
brag.
my god, you're so cool.
Thank
Sorry.
you. That's all I was looking for. I just wanted somebody to be like, "Oh my god, what parties did you get invited to?" Not many. So so I did it twice, and like I just remember it's like, as somebody that does not like being touched, I don't know how I got convinced to do this, but it does, like, you just want to pet everything and you want to be pet. So like, as somebody that really doesn't enjoy a lot of touch, all of a sudden it's like you crave being touched, you crave touching other people, and like it clearly is very relaxing, and it's like a very, like, there's people like it because it has like a sensual aspect to it, and it's just like life is love and everything is love. And then also I think people dance on it and that's fun. I don't know. I was never a dancer,
Yeah.
so I can't answer that. So there is a
Not even
part of
on
it.
ecstasy.
Even on ecstasy, I was like, I don't dance, and I'm going to be pretty regulated about who touches me. No drugs can affect the anger inside my heart. But there is something to me that it's linking this ASMR where it's just like, maybe you naturally have something that, like, I don't know, that it opens you up to being just just feeling lighter, like just feeling like not only are they having the physical response of like the tingling in their head and their spine, but like, I don't want to say it sounds like drugs because there's too much of it that just says it's relaxing, but even just that comparison that it can get less pleasurable or less work less over time just makes it sound like it's triggering something in the brain that's like a drug.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Well, I
interesting. Why
mean,
is
it's
ASMR
it
bad? I just saw that it says, why is ASMR bad? Through the effects of ASMR can sometimes be questioned. The danger is pretty clear. It's not dangerous. Oh, just over and over saying it's not dangerous. It just feels, when it says, oh, I love this. Can Christians watch ASMR? No. ASMR
Oh.
videos are not inherently bad for Christians or anyone, but pretty much anything can be bad for anyone if you use the wrong way. ASMR videos are more or less sensual in nature. Things like seeing skin to skin contact in a massage or hearing rough whispers um, are common themes. It's I just like that
Yeah,
was
but
like a
like,
hard no.
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 But yeah, I mean, that would be a good, "Hi, I'm God."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would see like
Just
maybe those
you're
are like, if they make them just like you said, like just specifically for Christian people.
yeah, just comedians, like, I think you and I, if we were the first comedians to dabble in ASMR, I think that we could get our views up to maybe even 450.
I just don't feel my voice is relaxing. I don't think there's anything. I think you could probably like do like a nice whisper, but like I wouldn't be able to be consistent. And my if I would almost have to tell a boring story because I'm either going to cackle or I'm going to get angry at some point. Like, I just feel like I would be that person where, like, they would be like Reddits about how I ruin videos. Like one of the worst ASMR people out there. Like I just
I don't think that's a problem either. I think that's really funny.
that seems like a weird prank where you like get them really into it. You're just like, "Hey everybody, I just want to tell you about my day," and I'd be like, "Get the fuck off my lawn!" Like just like and just flip out in the middle of it, and people are like, "This is not relaxing. I hate this."
Do you know what? There are so many people in this world, I'm sure that would work for a good number of them. I think it would
There's
still
gotta be somebody that likes to be yelled at. I mean,
Oh
I
my
just
god, yeah, are you kidding?
again, because
You
of their childhood. I don't know, I just need somebody to tell me to clean my room, it really gets me off. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I mean, I think we learned some stuff, hopefully you guys learned some stuff.
Yeah.
I would love somebody that, like, is into it or knows more about it to, like, write to us. I mean, I'm willing to learn, I just
Does anybody else with misophonia listen to ASMR videos?
oh, that'd be interesting. Write to us, guys. tunondoctors@gmail.com.
Please visit our Patreon page.
Yeah. As little as $3, you could be helping us out and you get fun benefits, and, we appreciate all our Patreons.
Please, like, on Stitcher, listen to us on Stitcher. I think they have a reviewing system on Stitcher, so if you like us, let us know. Review us on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and, we're also on Spotify.
We're on
I'm boring myself, I'm sorry.
yeah, we should be whispering this whole thing. I think that's
We're
what we
also
did wrong.
on
We should have been like,
we're also on
"We're on Spot."
Spotify.
Yeah, if we're gonna be
I
boring, I
don't think
think
I'm
it should
doing
be
it
like
right.
yeah,
We're also on Spotify.
and,
That's a whisper.
that was good. No, I like that. Yeah, if you could, let us know if you want us to do the whole podcast like this, that would be awesome, and,
I think
just
we'd
thanks.
have to have a bigger tier.
Yeah. For $400, we'll do all our podcasts like this. And if you could
For
subscribe, it really
$500 a month,
helps.
I would do your own private podcast. Just, "Hello, Samuel."
Yeah, could you imagine? Oh, that would be we really should do a tier where it's just like Samuel's like, my problems are, and I'd be like, let's research it. Do you want somebody with no education to tell you about your problems? I will say this:
Um,
people have been writing us comments and letters, and they're amazing. We got a letter, or we got a DM the other day from somebody that's like a doctor's assistant. That was like, I shouldn't like this podcast, but I love it. I love your camaraderie. Like it was, I have to say, it's when people actually know something. I think she was a nutritionist and worked in a doctor's office, and she's like, I shouldn't like this podcast, and I do. And I was like, that is the nicest compliment.
awesome.
So please write to us. We love them.
Despite
We
your
read all of them.
absolute ignorance on the subject, I enjoyed
That
it.
is pretty much what she wrote, and I absolutely loved it. But we appreciate you. Thank you for listening. We're new episodes every Tuesday, and we'll be back soon. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, every time I poop, I shower. It's not a big deal.